The courtroom doors opened at exactly 47 a.m. That detail is burned into my memory because that was the moment my life stopped being quietly dismantled and started being violently exposed. I was seated at the table reserved for people who are already assumed to be guilty. Technically, divorce court doesn't have defendants, but tell that to the man watching his wife describe him as a monster in front of a judge who holds his future in her hands. Rachel sat across from me, dressed perfectly for the role she was playing. Navy blue dress, minimal jewelry. Hair pulled back just enough to say, vulnerable but composed. She'd been crying for exactly 6 minutes, long enough to feel authentic, not long enough to feel forced. Rachel was always good with timing. She spoke softly about fear, about control, about abuse, and with every word she was burying me alive. Judge Patricia Moreno listened without interrupting, her pen gliding across a yellow legal pad. 17 years on the family court bench. Zero tolerance for theatrics. I knew her reputation because I'd researched everything I could after Rachel filed for divorce without warning. No conversation, no fight, just papers delivered to my office with a sticky note in her handwriting. Don't make this difficult. That was Rachel, always polite when she wanted to be cruel. She testified that I monitored every dollar she spent, that I isolated her from friends, that she was afraid to speak because I might explode. She even claimed I punched a wall next to her head. The truth? We had separate bank accounts, separate credit cards. I'd never once gone through her purse. The wall I punched was in the garage, alone after discovering a secret maxed-out credit card. I'd apologized. I'd paid for the repair. I'd gone to therapy. But truth sounds thin when lies are dressed in tears. Her lawyer finished with a satisfied smile. My attorney stood to begin our defense. Bank records, text messages, witnesses ready to testify. That's when the courtroom doors opened again. A man walked in who looked like he hadn't slept indoors in years. Dirty jeans, stained jacket, gray beard gone wild. But his eyes were sharp, clear, focused. He didn't hesitate. He walked straight down the aisle like he belonged there. The bailiff moved fast. Before anyone could stop him, the man spoke. "Your Honor," he said calmly, "may I show you something he doesn't know?" The room froze. Rachel's face didn't pale. It emptied. Judge Moreno raised one eyebrow. "Who are you?" "My name is Walter Freeman. I volunteer at the Fifth Street Shelter." He pulled a battered phone from his pocket, screen cracked and taped together. "3 weeks ago, I recorded something you need to see." Rachel didn't breathe. Her lawyer jumped up, objecting wildly. Judge Moreno shut her down with a single word. "Sit." The phone was connected to the courtroom screen. The video started shaking, grainy, unmistakable. A parking lot at night, sodium lights, a silver Lexus at the far end. Rachel's car. Timestamp, 11:47 p.m., March 15th, the night she told me she was visiting her sister. A man entered the frame, well-dressed, confident. He climbed into the passenger seat. They kissed immediately. And then Rachel's voice filled the courtroom. Cold, sharp, mocking. "He still doesn't suspect anything. Men are so stupid when they trust you." The courtroom stopped breathing. She laughed as she outlined everything. How she'd fabricated abuse, coached her therapist, planned the timing of the filing, how she'd cry on the stand, how judges always believe the woman. "I'll get the house, half his retirement. Alimony, easy." Her voice never wavered. She talked about restraining orders, freezing assets, destroying my reputation. "I'll be the brave survivor," she said. "No one will ever know we've been together for 2 years. 2 years. The video ended. Silence. Judge Moreno didn't hesitate. She dismissed the divorce petition with prejudice. Permanently. She cited perjury, fraud, conspiracy, recommended criminal charges, suggested I pursue everything available under the law. Rachel screamed. Not cried, screamed. The mask fell off in real time. She accused me of manipulation, of staging everything, of betrayal. The judge shut her down. The bailiff stepped in. Her lawyer abandoned her without a glance. As Rachel passed me, she leaned close enough that I smelled her expensive perfume. I almost had everything, she whispered, and you're still too stupid to understand why. Then she was gone. Walter waited near the door. I thanked him and asked why. He shrugged. I've been on the street 6 years, he said. You learn to recognize people who see others as tools. She looked like someone planning to hurt someone. He didn't want money. He asked me to help the shelter instead. Then he walked out. Weeks later, Rachel stood in criminal court wearing an orange jumpsuit. No makeup, no charm, just fear. Charges were read, bail was set, trial scheduled. Her mother called me screaming that I'd ruined her daughter's life. I hung up, because the truth is, I didn't ruin anything. I survived someone who tried to destroy me. And sometimes justice doesn't come from the people with power, money, or perfect appearances. Sometimes it walks in wearing torn jeans, carrying a cracked phone, and telling the truth at exactly 10:47 a.m.